How's it going, everybody? My name is Ajax and welcome back to Ajax HQ. Today I wanted to try something a little different. I wanted to talk about Pokemon that I think work as sleeper picks in a format that people don't really talk about too much, because obviously with Series 6 around the corner in a couple days, which I'm super excited for, it's very different. We got a whole ban list removing a lot of Pokemon that really shut down majority of the meta, really. And now we get to talk about Pokemon that were getting buffed because of that were good before, but what about the ones that people don't really pay attention that much to? And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, and I wanted to do this a little bit more. So if you like this idea, let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and follow everything that is Ajax HQ if you can, and let me know what you think, and tell me a Pokemon you'd like to see me go over after we do this. And if you like this idea, I will also be showcasing this concept, at least one of these leads, if not two, in an upcoming video for Series 6 as well. So if you like it, let me know. But right now we're going to talk about the Pokemon that I think is a sleeper pick for Series 6. That's Hitmonlee. So Hitmonlee is actually very interesting. I made a couple sets here to show off because I wanted you guys to see where my mindset was at. And this also just kind of gives you a little bit of insight to how I do team building too, especially in a best of one situation. These might work a little bit differently in best of threes, but in best of one, I think that these will work very well. So this lead right here, you got Hitmonlee with weakness policy, right? With the Unburden boost, speed tiers are very different now. There's no Dragapult. You don't have to worry about Togekiss as much. The only follow me that you really need to pay attention to when it comes to Hitmonlee is Clefairy, or maybe Clefable. But otherwise, the grass ones, you can lead with some other things to help redirect that. Like if you so choose, you can have something like Sylveon with safety goggles to go for quick attacks and then still get damage off. But for now, I'm talking about a few specific leads. So versus Rain in particular, usually you're going to be seeing a lot of Kingdra Politoed upcoming in the next format. So this one here, the reason why I have it at 151 is because Kingdra max speed and timid is 150, double the rain boost, and Hitmonlee still outspeeding it with Unburden. So you activate that with quick attack or with Comfey with Draining Kiss. But the reason why I chose Sylveon over Comfey more particularly because of Hyper Voice. When you lead into Kingdra, they might just back out entirely because they see the Sylveon staring it down too. But one of the calcs that went off that I wanted to show you guys was after the Unburden boost and the weakness policy proc, it'll outspeed, and it's a 2-hit KO with max airstream. So you could put this pressure on by putting in the max airstream there. You'll end up with a +1 to speed. You could change the weather if you so choose to as well with Rockfall, but preferably you want to go with the airstream because they're probably going to airstream you with the Kingdra as well, and you don't have any defense to it. But look at how much damage it does. Max airstream is a 2-hit KO. So unless they, if I remember correctly, I believe even with Helping Hand. Okay, so Helping Hand will actually KO. So you need to pay attention to that when it comes to Politoed potentially. But still, it's a cool concept. And also the whole idea behind it is just to pressure them with Sylveon and then surprise them with the Hitmonlee. So that's one way to do it. You could also put Fake Out on there. You have you also have Mach Punch, you have Earthquake if you wanted to go for something like a special defense boost. Probably wouldn't do it against Rain, but that's one idea. And then this one is very much one of them that I think is going to be the reason why Hitmonlee could have some special play. So also, why does so many things learn Bounce? So another cool thing with Hitmonlee, outside of pretty much Hawlucha, there aren't too many things that are going to be outspeeding it on the regular, even with weather boosts. So, and Hawlucha Unburden isn't going to be that common, and if you happen to see it, then just lead something else, or that, or you pressure it with the Sylveon or Comfey. So when it comes to Hitmonlee, and the reason why I chose high jump kick over close combat, I'm going to show you in this calc, is when it comes to high jump kick, it's a guaranteed 1-hit KO if they have no investment in defense in max HP, which is pretty common amongst most of these Laprases, because a big common lead you're going to be seeing in Series 6 is G-Max Lapras and Comfey, or Goodra Comfey. You're going to be seeing a lot of Comfey, and the fact that this one-shots that without even Dynamaxing, if they're not invested in defense, is kind of nuts. And even so, and mind you, this isn't even max attack. So if this was max attack, it's a better roll. But like if they happen to invest in defense at all, and you're gonna get this high jump kick off before they put up the Aurora Veil, so that's huge. And another thing too, a reason why I decided to put just an example of Mach Punch here, because like you don't have to put Mach Punch, but after the Unburden boost, and they decide to go for they decide to go for the Draining Kiss onto, or excuse me, the Giga Drain onto Lapras. If they decide to try and Draining Kiss your Hitmonlee, because you're going to be unburdened, actually wait, that might be priority 1. Never mind, ignore that statement. So that's one thing that I'd like to show off with that. That's another concept. And then here is the most interesting one that I wanted to show off. So Hitmonlee and Thwackey. Don't sleep. Thwacky's going to be good. Eviolite Thwackey is actually really bulky. Grassy Glide, Wood Hammer, Knockoff, it has Drain Punch as well. But the reason why I showed this setup is something I'm actually going to show off in an upcoming Series 6 video. This is more an assist Hitmonlee. Now, you could go for a bulkier set, or you could leave it as 12. You could leave it as low HP. I still kept it at 151 just because for the Kingdra example, but you can max it if you feel like it. And the reason why I did this is because this lead covers quite a bit. You can go for Fake Out onto a Follow Me Pokemon, and then go for Taunt onto the Trick Room, because you're going to be seeing a lot more of Dusclops. So Fake Out into what is most likely actually probably be Clefable, because the only thing that Dusclops can really use as a assisted Follow Me is either a Focus Sash Clefable, Clefairy, or a Clefable, or a Rage Powder Pokemon, which if it's Rage Powder, Thwackey just ignores it entirely. So you get to him anyways. And then here's a fun count. So this is the majority of why I wanted to make this video. This is why this whole idea even came up. So after Grassy Seed, you'll have Unburden, and you're gonna have a very fast coaching setup with Hitmonlee. Coaching is actually pretty solid, but also not just that. It's gonna be a sneaky play, because you're staring down something like this, and Thwackey, you're like, okay, so Thwacky's not gonna be the the actual attacker here, right? It's not going to be the offensive threat. So, max HP, max special attack, Primarina. This is going to be probably the strongest Pokemon in the next format. Primarina is going to be everywhere. Coaching +1, Dynamax versus Dynamax. Not even with Wood Hammer. Max Overgrow will one-shot a Dynamaxed Primarina. And usually they're not invested in any speed. And mind you, you don't have to worry about going with negative speed nature on Thwackey now, because indeed he's gone. So you're not speed tying with any other terrain setter, outside of if people start using maybe Weezing or more Pincurchin, which I don't foresee, possibly. But still, the fact that in grassy terrain, +1, actually out of grassy terrain, it's still 1-hit KOs out of grassy terrain. It's a roll at that point, but in grassy terrain, it's guaranteed 1-hit KO. And then if you were to put on, say, Wood Hammer, that's 154%. There's no, they're not living that at all. It's guaranteed 1-hit KO. This is on a Primarina, one of the strongest upcoming threats for the next format. So you run into Trick Room Primarina, and then you shut down the Trick Room because you get the taunt off at the beginning with the Hitmonlee play. You get coaching. If they didn't lead with the Primarina, you're probably ending up +2 with a couple coachings off. All I'm saying is don't sleep on Thwackey. This is actually just a hidden tech I wanted to show. I'm making a video about Thwackey too, because there's a couple other things, and why grassy terrain, Grassy Glide is not gone, and why you need to be worried about it. So even out of Dynamax, for example, you got Grassy Glide at +1 will 1-hit KO if they're both not Dynamaxed. And actually, I think if I remember correctly, am I reading that right? That's 100. That's still 1-hit KO, even without the +1. Thwackey is nuts. So yeah. Anyways, that's one of the leads I wanted to show you with that. So Hitmonlee Thwackey is actually a pretty solid core, and a good thing about that lead is you don't even necessarily need to Dynamax these two to put pressure on, because Thwackey is going to be very bulky. You have the taunt, you have knockoff to be able to put to remove things like Eviolite, to remove the life orbs and such. While being able to get the fake out play, and just being able to pressure things like opposing flying types, which is going to be very common against this type of lead. You see these two, obviously you want to lead fire or flying. You have the Rock Slide on the Hitmonlee, so it's going to be fast. It's going to put a lot of damage on. You could choose to maybe swap out Protect for Fake Out on the Thwackey as well. You could change these moves up the way that you like it, but this is a lead that I think is actually going to do some surprising work, even in a best of 3 situation, because the fact that you don't need to expend a Dynamax to put a decent amount of damage pressure, or just being able to have multiple options to do things as such as like bulk out the Thwackey and still have a sweeper in the back, this is going to be something that's pretty good. That's in my opinion. So that is one of the other leads. Now, there's still a couple more setups of Hitmonlee you could do. I didn't put it here, but you can maybe put, like, say, White Herb on it with Close Combat, so you get the proc off. Or, as a counter Arcanine play, you could put White Herb on Hitmonlee, have it remove the Intimidate, it gets the speed boost, and then you have something like Rock Slide or Earthquake, and maybe have, I don't know, Braviary or a Milotic next to it, so you can scare them from leading with Arcanine even more, because Arcanine's going to be the most common Intimidator that we see in the next format. So that is one concept. Now, this one is a concept I plan to try out myself. This is just an idea I was having floating, but I was saying Pincurchin before might be not super common, but I plan to try it because that's one less terrain you got to worry about, and Pincurchin is actually not that weak. So you got the Raichu play with Pincurchin and everything, but what is Hitmonlee doing here? Obviously, Dusclops and Amoonguss are good for redirection and getting Trick Room off, so Pincurchin could work, but what's Hitmonlee's point? So, a completely bulky, just purely assist-based Hitmonlee. Max HP, the +1 off of defense, so this goes up to, I forgot. I don't remember. I'm not going to look it up. But it's still +1 to defense, so it gets much closer to something like this here. While also, again, I just left it at 151 because of Kingdra. You could change it the way you want. You could even, if you choose, lower this if you don't think of Rain as a threat with this type of team, because you can maybe have a weather setter of your own, or you think they're going to be afraid to lead Kingdra with Politoed because of the fact that you have Raichu and Pincurchin. I probably wouldn't lead Rain versus that myself. So you can even remove this here, and you could put more bulk in, like, say, defense, or you could put more attack just to have more damage. And once again, majority of why I just use high jump kick is because even though it can miss, it's better damage output. I'd rather not lose my defenses on my assist mon. But anyways, so you get the electric seed off. You have weakness policy Pincurchin. Nobody's seeing that coming. And then you max out that. It only does like 16%, I think. Do I have it over here? I do not. It only does like 16% to Dynamax Pincurchin, or maybe even less. So you get off a boosted Zing Zap and Electric Terrain, or Max Lightning. You could set up for the future plays of Raichu coming in, because let's be real, they're probably going to be swinging at the Hitmonlee after that. And after you, because you could also start going for coaching plays. If, say, that you see that they're gonna attack your Pincurchin with a super effective move, you could choose to just coaching, get the +1 to defense off on Pincurchin, because most of the ground moves that are gonna be left are mostly physical, and that'll allow Pincurchin to live. You get the weakness policy, you start spamming coachings, and all of a sudden Pincurchin's a monster. And then you still have the ability to go into Trick Room afterwards. The Bulldoze, by the way, the Bulldoze is how you activate that. So you'll get some speed control as well for opposing things. So you could even choose to say, here, I put this at 152 and 151 to purely just outspeed Kingdra, because I think that's this only team's threat that it needs to worry about. Again, speed tiers are very different now. There's no Dragapult to focus on for speed tiers. There's no Venusaur to focus on for speed tiers. There's no... And actually, I think that's pretty much it. Most of the Unburdened users are slower than Hitmonlee, or, yeah, that's pretty much it. And Tailwind is pretty much only left to Talonflame, which you just smack it and call it a day. Outside of them, Dynamax going to go for Airstream, but you won't see that very often. So, and again, if you're intentionally bringing Talonflame against Raichu, you're kind of in a crazy spot. But either way, I think this is a pretty cool concept. I think Hitmonlee is one of those Pokemon that is, it's not talked about because it's not common. It wasn't used really in the format before. I kind of saw some play at the end. My original ideas behind it was when I was helping a buddy of mine named Biddy put together a team that actually had Hitmonlee that was weakness policy with Throat Chop to one-shot Dragapult, because it would outspeed it without even any speed investment, because minimum speed Hitmonlee without with attack nature is actually 107, which is one higher than what you need for Dragapult. So this Pokemon has been a sleeper for a little while, but this is why I think that we'll be seeing a bit more. If not, I will make it so we see a bit more of Hitmonlee, because I think it's a pretty solid assist Pokemon. With Unburdened through one of the electric or grassy seeds, through the 2 terrain setters people aren't going to be expecting. Or you can even surprise people with things like the White Herb off close combat, Intimidate for an assist Pokemon, or the one that I was mentioning before, Weakness Policy. That one might not be the most common because there's a lot of stronger Weakness Policy Pokemon, but when you sneak in a high jump kick onto a Lapras and one-shot them, again, like I said, this is an Oko on Gigantamax Lapras, one of the most common Pokemon upcoming into the next format, on a guaranteed Oko, as long as it doesn't miss, or they don't protect, obviously. But and then even close combat, if you chose close combat, it's an 81% chance roll at max attack +2 to KO. So I think that's pretty cool. You know, outside of just the Urshifus, the return of Conkeldurr, and maybe Hawlucha, but like that's pretty much the most common fighting types you're going to be seeing coming back. So that's, again, I think that's pretty cool, and I think this is one of the Pokemon that you could see being used. So tell me what you think. If you happen to like this idea, me showing off more Pokemon that I think are uncommon, that could find their way into the meta, or even just like a sneaky rogue pick that is good for best of 3 situations where, oh crap, what kind of Hitmonlee is that? What is it doing? Because with coaching, it now becomes a relatively okay assist Pokemon, while also providing a very confusing factor to somebody trying to put stuff together. And that's one of my favorite things when it comes to team building, is confusing my opponent. So, because half the battle is knowing what they're planning to do. And most people like to go off flowchart teams, as we saw with Series 5, where everybody was running Cinderace, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Togekiss, because you had to. It was the best way to shut down a lot of teams. It kept a lot of really unique concepts out, but now it's Series 6 out in a few days. There's going to be a lot of unique things that people are not used to seeing. However, most people are going to be very much going to what they think is the common cores and the safety nets of Lapras, and maybe with the rise of Goodra, the return of Rhyperior, which I didn't even do calcs for, actually. That I didn't even think about that. That's shutting down Trick Room and having a fighting type Pokemon. For instance, actually, I wonder exactly how well Thwacky Hitmonlee does against Dusclops Rhyperior. I'm going to test that out. Like I said, I got an upcoming video for this core in particular, but I'm probably going to be doing a couple other ones showcasing more of Hitmonlee, and I plan to add a few more along with some other things and such in the future. So let me know what you think. I know I kind of rambled quite a bit on some of this stuff. This is my first time doing a Pokemon showcase video, so to speak, on the actual builds versus just making a theme team based around the Pokemon. So if you like this idea, if you want me to show off another one, if you have a Pokemon you think works in this upcoming meta that maybe people aren't seeing, like one of my upcoming videos is also going to be about Bouffalant, because I think Bouffalant is a sleeper pick too. So if you like this idea, let me know. I'll probably make something about it, and I'll end up making a team about it afterwards. For now, thank you so much for joining me here at Ajax HQ. It's been a little while, and I'm glad that I'm back. I'm glad that you guys maybe hopefully enjoyed it, guys and gals. And if you can, please like, subscribe to the channel, and also check out my Twitch at Ajax HQ on Twitch. I will be live streaming a lot more with all my teams and viewer submitted teams in the future, but I really want to showcase a lot of stuff that I have made that I haven't been able to do over these last few months that I really would like for you to see. And for now, I'll see you next time.